With today's ever-rising energy costs and improving technology, going solar is not too good to be true. Today, with the help of Don, an expert in solar, I am going to lead the discussion for you in very simple terms. We all strive to make life better, more comfortable, easier, which through going solar, we will show you how to likely eliminate your largest monthly bill next to your house payment, which is your electric bill. Managing and reducing your monthly bills is critical for all of us, regardless of the size of your monthly electric bill, $150, $250, $350, $550, or even $800. Going solar is likely the solution to eliminate your electric bill with zero out-of-pocket cost to you, resulting in huge savings. We all have heard a great deal about solar. It's all over the news. For instance, the state of California is requiring solar on all new homes, and 16 major cities in the U.S. are implementing Go Solar incentives to have their residents to convert to solar. Most people do not know a lot about solar. You hear the stories about saving money, going green, and lowering your electric bill. So today, for your benefit and mine, we will discuss in simple terms with charts and graphs the true benefits of going solar. Next, we're going to introduce Don, a solar expert. Hey, Don.
Hey, Preston. Thanks for inviting me today.
Hey, we're glad to have you. So we've labeled going solar as not too good to be true, but before we jump into that, why don't you tell us how long you've been in the industry?
Great question, Preston. I've been in the industry for several years, but what's most impressive about my time in the industry is the number of jobs I install, the number of jobs I sell a week. It's huge. And because of that, you'll find when I talk with you or share with you anything about the industry, it's from my experience. Most important though, aside from my experience in the solar industry, is I spent 30 years in the mortgage industry, so I understand finance better than most. In addition, I was a builder for many years, so I understand all the facets associated with doing solar, from putting solar on your roof to the cost associated with it, to your monthly payment, and how it's going to save you money immediately.
When a lot of people think of solar, they think it's a big upfront investment and you have to wait for years in your return. I mean, is that true?
Preston, I can assure you, and I'll show you today, as we go through this, that it'll cost you nothing to do it, absolutely no money out of pocket. There is no investment on your part. And the return is just amazing. And it's an instant return. You start saving money from the first month.
Could you explain to me how I can use solar to heat my pool?
I get to ask that question all the time. Probably 1 out of 4 people that call me want to heat their pool. There's a couple of ways to approach heating your pool. The more traditional way to heat your pool is to buy the flimsy solar pool heating panels that go on your roof. They're very flimsy. And while they last 8 to 10 years with no problem, what generally happens with panels like that is since they've got water, the water lines expand and contract and start leaking. So they end up needing to be repaired and causing damage to your roof, likely causing damage to your roof. And lastly, if you do solar pool, just a solar pool, you do not get the tax credit. What I recommend to anyone who calls me, whether you have an existing solar pool that you want to replace, or you're doing solar on your home, here's my suggestion. What we do is we take a look at your current electric bill. We go through the analysis I mentioned earlier. We figure out your monthly kilowatts and your daily. We figure out the correct size system to eliminate your electric bill. You'll likely save, if it's a $350 bill, you're going to save $150, $200 a month. Then what I do is I add 6 more panels to the number we calculated. And if we were doing 37 panels before, we do 43 panels, and that'll allow us to heat your pool. By adding the 6 panels to the solar system for your house, you get the tax credit for it. So the additional money you're spending on it, you get the tax credit. The only additional thing we'd add to your pool to make it work would be a pool heater. I generally use a Hayward pool heater. And a lot of people I meet with think they want to heat it. We go over the numbers and they really want to have the total savings. And it's something, once we do solar on your house, we can always add 6 more panels to heat your pool.
I hear a lot of talk about incentives, government incentives, state incentives, even city incentives. Can you tell me a little bit about how they work?
Yes, and it's actually different from state to state. The one incentive that's still there, and they're going to eliminate it, but right now it's still there, is a federal tax credit that you get when you do solar. And that's 30% of whatever you pay for the system. So if you pay $30,000 for the system, your tax credit is $9,000. Now, when I say it's a tax credit, it's money that you'll be able to deduct off your taxes that you owe each year until you use it up. Depending on your income level, you may end up taking that tax credit over 2 years versus all at once in 1 year. You can never take more of a credit than what you paid in taxes. There are some states, for example, the state of Texas has got other credits available to you. In the state of Florida, the only credit, although you read a lot that the state of Florida is offering credits for solar, they are not. The only credit for solar is the federal tax credit. I want to put that rumor to bed.
But I have a question. So if I have shade on my house, does that prevent me from going solar? And will my air conditioner and water heater work the same?
When I walk into your house, you might note if you see me walking up, I'm looking around your house to see if there's any trees. And the answer is yes, a tree could affect the performance of your system. The shading from your tree, not the tree itself. If it does, there's something called optimizers that we can add to your system that'll make it run more efficiently if there's shade. I always suggest, if you can, that we trim it. And if I can, we'll try to provide the funds to help you trim or remove a tree so we don't have to deal with it. The question I'm asked often from anybody who does solar is, will the solar still run my air conditioning, my pool, and everything else? And I want to reiterate, once you do solar, it's going to take care of your air conditioning bill. It's going to take care of your whatever the cost of heating your pool is. However inefficient your house is, and whatever bill you have, the solar is going to wipe out that bill for the inefficiencies that you have with your house right now. The other thing I want to stress, there are a lot of companies out there selling solar, and they're going to knock on your door and they're going to try to sell you insulation or windows. And my comment to you is, unless you need new windows because they're cracking and you've got problems with them, definitely don't do it. You might save 10 or 12% off your bill. And if you do solar, you may get a savings. Excuse me, if you do insulation, you definitely may have a savings. The difference, though, is, as I said this, when you have a $350 Duke bill, that bill is for however inefficient your house is right now with whatever air is escaping out of your attic, whatever air is escaping out of your windows because they don't close tightly. That bill reflects it. You're running your air conditioning to air condition your house based on that. So my recommendation is, do not do insulation. If we do the solar panels that I calculate, doing insulation is not going to save you any extra money off your bill because you've already wiped your bill out. Buying new windows isn't going to save you any more money because you've already wiped your bill out. Now, you might buy new windows because you want to do that, but it's not necessary. The one thing I'd recommend, by the way, is if you can, and we'll help you do this, if you can have someone go around and seal your air conditioning ducts. That's the biggest area in your house where you're going to lose, where it's going to cost you more because your ducts aren't sealed and you're losing air conditioning.
I can't believe the response that we're getting online right now. There's a ton of people that are responding with questions. Let's go through a few of them. Rebecca out in Orlando asked, can my homeowners association stop me from doing solar panels on my rooftop?
No, they cannot. In the state of Florida, there's an actual statute that specifically says the homeowners association, regardless of what the bylaws say, cannot, again I'm going to say cannot, prohibit you from doing solar. Even if you're on the front of the house, which we try to avoid at all costs. A lot of people don't want it on the front. It really doesn't impact the look at all. But we try to avoid the front of the house, and regardless of where we put it on the house, the homeowners association has no say at all, per statute.
So there's actually a law that prevents the homeowners association from stopping me from going solar.
Absolutely.
Andy from Clearwater asks, does my roof need to face directly south in order to go solar?
No, but south-facing roof is the best facing roof to get. But whether you, generally you go south, then east, then west. We seldom, if ever, put solar on the north side of the house. So if it's a solar pool, a lot of solar pool companies want to do the south roof, but it doesn't make a difference whether it's south, east, or west. And the order I gave you, south, then east, then west, would be the order that we do it.
Okay, all right. So let's move on here. Here's another one from Sam in Kissimmee, Florida. He asks, will my solar array put holes in my roof or be too heavy?
The answer is no, it will not be. the weight of your solar system in any particular square footage of your house is equivalent to a man standing on your rooftop. And the roof is designed to hold far more weight than that. The panels do not sit directly on your roof. We use a racking system, and that's metal, pieces of metal that sit on your roof that we screw down to the roof. But you might use 10 screws versus 100 screws because we're just putting the racks on the roof, not each panel. The panels then sit on the racks.
Oh, okay.
So, and what I should mention is if there's a hurricane, everyone's worried about what happens when they blow off. I'm going to tell you two stories. One is our panels are rated between 165 and 175 mile-an-hour winds. If they blow off over 175, your insurance would cover it. If it's less than that, our engineer certifies that the panels will withstand 165, over 165 to 175. So we'd cover it.
Okay, great. So they're actually rated for hurricanes.
Yeah, but here's the neat thing. I've always told people that, and not neat, I pity the homeowner, but I had a homeowner that we just installed solar in Orlando 3 weeks ago. And the homeowner called me because a tornado hit his home. He was dead center. Guess what happened to our solar panels? Nothing. In fact, it took us a couple of days to get the system re-inspected. We passed with flying colors. So not only am I telling you we're going to withstand a hurricane, he just withstood a tornado.
Wow, that's amazing. We got another one in here from Emma. Can a solar array increase the value of my home?
That's a great question. I get asked it all the time. And it's a two-pronged question. It's really not, it's yes, it increases the value of your home, but also how much does it increase the value of your home? And then the third part of that question is, how quickly will I sell my home with solar and without? So the answer is, yes, it increases the value of your home. And I use an article, and the article I use is from the Appraisal Journal. I love it because appraisers wrote it, not realtors, not that I don't respect realtors, but the appraisers who appraise your property wrote this article. And what it says is for every dollar you save the first year, your house goes up in value $20.73. So in the case where we use that Duke bill of $350 times 12, that means you have a $4,200 annual payment. If you're eliminating that bill times $20.73, your home could go up in value $80,000 to $90,000. Would be $4,200 times $20.73. And here's why. Let's assume you have a $350 bill today, and you sell your house in 5 years, and your bill goes up 6% a year, $18 a year. I'm going to use 20 because it's a round number. In 5 years, you have a $450 bill. Well, you would have a $450 bill if you didn't buy solar. By buying solar, you do not have that bill. So when you're selling your house, while your house may be worth $400,000, you might get that extra $80,000 from someone because they're going to pay that much knowing they do not have a $450 utility bill and will never have a utility bill. Then that gets you to the next question. Does it help me sell my house? The answer is absolutely yes. There's many articles out there. What they say is houses with solar sell 20% quicker. The experience I've had is in an area in Florida called The Villages, and they've had houses, as many as 600 houses on the market, 600 or 700 houses on the market, and 75-day marketing time. And with solar, this house is sold within a week to 3 weeks. So Canadians and people coming to Florida are very, very, very interested in solar. In fact, a lot of people I meet with are shocked more people don't already have it. So if you've got solar, it's a tremendous selling feature. And here's the fourth thing to be aware of. A lot of people say, well, will my house not sell if I've got solar, or can I take it with me? The answer is you're not going to want to take it with you because you're going to get back what you have into the system probably 2 times. So 2 times what you invested in it, you're going to get back when you sell the house. And you're very likely not going to take it with you. The one thing I've learned about this industry is people want answers. They don't want a bunch of BS. They want to know what the answer is. They want to know what it's going to cost. They want to be told the truth. And they want it quickly. They don't want to schedule an appointment and maybe have someone show up at their house or not. So the unique thing about the way we run our company, we have something called the Rocket Instant Solar Quote. If you call us, within 3 minutes, We'll figure out what your average bill is. Then we'll figure out what your average kilowatt usage is. We'll figure out your daily kilowatt usage. And I'll be able to tell you the size system you need, and finally, your savings, your monthly savings. And it's going to be a savings. It's not going to be a waste of time.
All right, Don, I like the idea of going solar. I love the idea of likely eliminating my electric bill.